There we go. Welcome, everyone. Appreciate it. Let me share my screen to get this. So, guys, I want to share a few things with you today. And I know we've talked about a few things. And again, it's crazy about, have you guys starting to feel like spring is already here? I mean, the weather obviously is feeling that way, but do you guys feel like that maybe your phones and stuff are already kind of ringing off the hook? Do you guys feel that? Do you guys feel, can you get kind of that? I mean, it's, again, I don't want to make you guys kind of freak out, but last night I told my wife, yeah, I'll be home in just a minute. And we had like 3 phone calls. I want to sell my mother's house. I've got a client coming for Santa Cruz. I've got to sell this house. And this is like in the last 2 days of just people saying, I need. And so please help me. So I hope that you guys can see and feel that. I kind of feel that when that starts happening, I always tell my sellers when they're the people that you've actually gone out and actually met in the last maybe month, make sure you let them know. I always say, look, I'll let you know when the spring market kind of hits. I'll let you know when the phones start picking back up. Now, maybe we get another rain of two weeks of pure rain and maybe that slows down. But I just want to share kind of some things here, guys. And I think that we've already talked about this, right? Just remember I'm just going to quiz you here. How's the market? How's the market? How is the market, you guys? How do you guys answer that?
It's great. It's absolutely still a seller's market, but because rates are increasing, it's a better time than ever for buyers because you're only going to see the rates go up. And yeah, and properties over the next few months are going to be coming onto the market more and more too.
Yeah. So, it's when I was at yesterday's event that I was at, they basically several people came and say, hey, how's the market? How's business? And how's this? And it I know there's another agent that I was with yesterday, and she said this is going to be my best year ever because I'm already kind of closed 3 or 4 houses already in January, which is great. And that was just personal me to me and conversation. But guys, I want you guys to know that don't leave business on the table. If I tell people it's slammed, if I tell people it's good, if I tell people it's bad, if I tell, that I'm struggling, then it kind of changes. And so this was the this was the opportunity right here to get more business and memorize this. Thank you for asking. It really depends. Are you interested in buying, selling, investing, or renting? Each of those markets is very different. Which market, are you most interested in? So keep that in mind, because when you shared, Sarah, right there, which was a great answer, but at the same time you shared that, that you shared a seller one, you shared a buyer one, and then they might walk away and go, oh, that's great. That's great. But if you didn't pinpoint and ask them, well, what do you need? What do you need my services for? Thank you for asking. And sometimes it's just I'm just kind of curious just because, but do I go up though, Sarah? If I go up to my dentist friend and I just go, or my hygienist or whatever, it's like, how was the drilling of your teeth today? How was did you have fun drilling? How was your operation today? Do we go up to our doctors and do we ask that question? I don't, but why do people always come up to us and say, well, how's the market? So obviously they're actually fishing for something. They're actually thinking about something. I just don't. I don't walk up to I mean, I might ask my kids, how was work today or something, but I don't go up to them and say, how was your job today? How was your hairdresser? It's like, well, how was the color today you did? It's like, Jana, I don't know. Do people come up and ask you how your colors went this today? So, but they'll ask you for sure how the market is when they know that you're in real estate. So I want you guys to kind of pivot and really understand that when buyers and sellers come up to you, they're either looking for themselves, they're looking for somebody else. So I would say if they go, oh, we're just curious. Oh, well, thank you. Was there somebody that you're thinking of? There's obviously a reason why you asked me that question. And you don't want to drill them so much where they kind of feel like, no, really, seriously, Sarah, I was just checking. It's okay, Sarah. I was just checking. You don't want to put, but you go, oh, was there somebody that somebody had a question that and recently in your memory that somebody asked you about the market as well? Oh yeah, actually my mom was actually asking about the market. See where you went with that? So somehow subconsciously they were just talking to somebody else recently, and then they just asked you that question, and then you need to kind of find out the why. And so you get a little bit deeper on that. So if they ask you about any of those other ones, I would really, in my last market update, guys, there's, I don't know, what was it, 53 something trillion dollars that are in people's extra income or extra appreciation that they've received in their houses here in the last year. So in the United States. So there's a lot. So when I actually sent out a little video this week, I actually asked some people, said, hey, just checking in with you. I know you've got a lot of equity in there. Are you thinking about buying or adding another property to your portfolio? Well, maybe they only have their primary residence, but he says, no, I'm not interested in buying or selling, this year, but I appreciate it. And I'll reach out when I do. And this is somebody who I haven't talked to for about a year. So he reached out to me and I had that conversation to be able to have that touch with them. But I just wanted to say, you interested in, adding another property to your portfolio? So, there are people that will want to. It's like, well, what do you mean? I've never really thought about that. Would you guys, anybody have a problem buying one house? Anybody want to own one house? Everybody probably go, yeah, I won't buy one house. If you go, would you like to buy two? Would you like to buy three? Because, real estate is there. So some people don't want the hassle, but then you're putting that, some people might. All right, guys, this is what I want to share with you. And this is our cute little baseball diamond that we have here. Are you guys finding that with the low inventory that you've got people and you're going to people's houses to list, that they're not moving because there's no other houses for them to move to? This is a problem. I mean, this right here could slow down the whole entire, I don't care where the interest rates go up, down, or whatever. If we don't have any inventory, and thank you. Oh, thank you. All right. My wife's taken off to Napa with the girls. So have fun. She's taking my car too.
I was noticing that.
So,
Where'd she leave?
all right. I told her to bring my car back in one piece. And so I do care about you too, sweetie. All right. So this is a little bit of a concern that I've got 3 people right now that have gone to listing presentations in the last week. And they say, I want to move even here locally, but I just don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to stop. So what are you guys telling people when you get there? Do you just say, go for it, get your home on the market, and we'll just, the luck of the draw?
I recently said, because it's a seller's market and the seller is really in the driver's seat, let's list it and list it with a contingency that you find a replacement property, because there's such low inventory that if people want this property, they're going to be willing to wait. And it's gorgeous. They're going to want it. They're going to wait. And then that makes for a much stronger offer if we have to write a sale contingent offer, but we're already in contract on something, than if we have to write a sale contingent offer and we haven't quite listed it yet.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's the answer right there. Thank you, Sarah. Because that's, I always like to let them know. I said, I don't know where I get this weird things. I just go, hey, it's your party and you're going to invite people to it. And we only go when you're ready, so I want to make sure they understand, because it's such a stressful thing. I always tell people, I only want you guys to move once. That's my goal. I don't want you to move twice. Some people have an RV and they go, hey, I'm going to take my RV and I'm going to go, I'll just go. Well, that's great. You have an option, but most people do not want to pack twice, do not want to move into a rental right now. Find a rental for a short-term rental or a year rental is just tough. So it's letting them know, look, I feel really confident that we're going to be able to get your home sold very quickly, but you're in control. Sarah said it, put an offer, get an offer. It's contingent. We may lose that buyer. We have somebody that's in escrow for 3 weeks right now, waiting for that house seller to find another property around here. And my people, they have till June, they can wait. So tell the sellers, we can find that perfect buyer. We might lose a couple. We might find somebody goes, hey, I need a house in 20 days. I'm taking a job transfer, blah, blah, blah. That's not our buyer. We're looking for someone who's got maybe they're moving up here. Maybe they were planning on renting the house for a year. So that's the type of buyer. And because the inventory, as Sarah shared, that the sellers are in charge, and that's what it is. Because you can't move to second base or third base until people start moving around to be able to, to sell the inventory. So, and somebody the other day said, wow, I was looking at online. It seems like there's a lot of homes on the market in Grass Valley. Now, he said, I think I saw 100 and something of them. I go, that's the lowest inventory we've had in decades. So obviously to someone thinking that looks like a high number, but prospectively, if they're not familiar with the market, it really, really is low. And I'm finding a lot of people that are kind of outskirts of town, 4 or 5 acres, and want to move in closer to town for one or an acre, half acre, less work, city utilities, less fire insurance. But isn't that kind of strange? Because a year or 2 years and a half ago, everybody wanted to move out of the big cities and move out in the country. And now with the fire scares and stuff, they're kind of wanting to move back. So I guess that's job security for us, but it's interesting to see. So guys, just a low inventory, who moves on that? So you'll probably need to sell your home first. And do you qualify to buy your next home without selling first? That's another whole little sweet story there too. And I know that our buyer seller guarantee and things of that nature, because you'll go through it, you'll go through the, with these buyers, I've got several of them are just wanting to go try to find a home and try to put a home and get an offer accepted on a house. And I have one client that's super nice person, and he called me the other day and said, hey, I want to go look at this home. It just came on the market. It's still sitting there. It's only been 5 days on the market. So I might be able to get in there and do a contingency sale. And so I called him up, and the agent says, yeah, we have 2 offers plus 2 more coming. And, 5 days isn't long enough. On a contingent sale, it's going to be 30 or 45 days on the market. And then you can maybe discuss maybe a contingency of a sale of that property. So, and some people can qualify for both. Some people absolutely can qualify. I got 2 people. I've got one right now, and they're in escrow in Alta Sierra. They've got the home that we're going to be listing up there in Smartsville. They totally could qualify for both properties, but how many people want to make that large of a payment for a certain amount of period of time? So you want to share with them, hey, if you do this move, can you make this work if you don't have income on another property, or if it's a rental or whatever it might be, if you lose your tenant or things of that nature. So you just talk to them, and then you have put them in front of your favorite lender, and the lender actually got them totally pre-approved and ready to go. And we were able to purchase both. And now we're putting their house on the market. Here's a good,
I have
Sarah,
a question, Eric. How often or when do you recommend them looking into a bridge loan to do something like that?
Right. So I have one that we're doing right now that bridge loans get a little expensive, and there are certain programs that come and go. But if those don't know what a bridge loan means, is it's basically you're getting another loan kind of, and it could be based on the one I have in right now is the manufacturer, the trailer in the park that he actually just got a quick second on his house, kind of brought in monies on his house, and then came over selling that, buying that one, and then selling in reverse behind you. So I haven't heard or seen a lot of bridge loans, but it's kind of a bridge loan could be the same thing. Get an equity line on your home that you live in, get that, pay for this one over here in cash. Is that kind of what you're thinking, what your definition of bridge loan? So it happens if they have that equity, if they have it, and they felt in this case, it was right on. Some other people go, no, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to touch my house. I mean, my wife is so anti refinancing her house, doesn't want to touch it, wants to keep the payments straight up, doesn't want to do anything with it, which is safe. And that's just our preference. But it does happen. You could possibly do that. And I would recommend that after you lose 1 or 2 other sales and you keep losing them, you got to start. And again, I try to educate them really upfront and say, guys, here's our 3 choices. 1 is the guaranteed sale program. 2 is the contingency of just you going in with a contingency which isn't the strongest. And then Sarah's idea about putting your house on the market, get an offer, then going to contingency upon the house being closed, not really getting an offer for it, or doing a bridge loan. I mean, those, you just got to educate them up front and say, this is what the options are, what best fits you. And you're going to lose a couple offers. You might lose a couple houses, and then they'll realize the writing's on the wall, and then they're going to go to a different idea is what's going to end up happening. All right. So this one's interesting. Why should we list with you? I don't know, because my name's Tim, because I'm Christine Turner and I've been here for decades. I mean, what I've sold a couple houses. You guys tell me. So you guys need to memorize that. It puts you on the spot if they all of a sudden say, hey, just one question for you. Why should we list with you? Now, for me, with more of a track record, I could probably just say blah, 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 and here's this and here's that, and this is what I do, and I've been doing it for a long time. But there are a lot of agents out there who have sold houses for 20, 30 years, and maybe they close 2 or 3 times, deals a year, and that's all they so choose to do so. So, this was an interesting, you guys are going to have to do a little statistics and checking with Jim or whatever that you want to do. You guys are going to need to really push and just say we. I know that Jana and Sarah and Christine and some others here, you guys actually have some sales, and right there now you've got sales that you can come back and actually say, hey, this is what I've got, this is what I've done. But I know that with the Century 21 being the top market share, and this was a Tom Ferry script, that we sell twice as many properties, we'll sell 3 times faster, and we sell them for 2.7% more average and 96% 5-star review on Zillow. I mean, you could go in there and just go look at maybe Zillow, maybe our Century 21 has 100% 5 stars on Zillow, but maybe it's 96% on realtor.com. Find one that we have all 5 stars. Find one that one of our offices in Nevada City has 3 or 4, 6, 10 reviews and we're all 5 stars, and you can share that and say, our company, look at our company, we sell, we're with the highest market share. And you will get an opportunity to find out what your percentage of your homes. I haven't calculated that of the 2.7 more than average, but I bet you if I went and looked on the houses that I sold last year, I bet you if I took all of those houses, and you could do this statistically for Century 21, there's going to be some that are right at asking. There's going to be some that'll be below asking, but I bet you most of them have been over asking, that you'll be able to find that number of a 2.7, a 1.5, a 3.4 because of where we are at the market. So if you just memorize and have say something that our company sells at 2.7 more money than average, that's a script. That's a great opportunity to be able to share that it is. So I'd really push that. I think Dan's email on Friday was, he really pushed a little bit about utilizing the company and showing the company about all our offices and what we actually have. It's really cool. I've been seeing so many more emails coming over since we brought on all those other offices of some commercial opportunities that I've seen that have been getting emailed to us and some things. So just got to build off of that momentum and say, look, this is who we have. We have 1,000+ real estate agents in our company, and we can refer people, and we have just so much to offer there. So that's what I would just kind of work until you guys can start building. I would make sure you start building your listing presentation and having it in a bullet points and say, this is what I do. This is what I do. This is what we do. This is what we do. This is what I do. This is what we do. And then eventually it will turn to eyes. Not that we want to be cocky or arrogant, but you do it in a polite way. So the other day, somebody said, hey, so I see that your literature that you were like, I don't know what it was, number 3. I think you said you were number 3. We changed it. You were number 3 in California. And I said, yeah, I slacked this year because that was last year. Now I'm only number 9. So I joke with them, I wasn't trying to be like, hey, yeah, it's like, pick me. I'm not a big fan of when you see ads and you say, hey, I'm like, number 1 and but you have to be a little subtle and you have to have it somewhere in there so then they can understand who you are. But if you say that we're the number 1 market share in Nevada County and that's who we are and that's who I belong to and that's the company I belong to, that was powerful stuff. And so you guys need to, utilize that. All right. I want to stay a step ahead, and I've got about 4 minutes here. Did you guys listen to Dan's update on the broker buyer agreements? I really have only maybe signed a couple of these in my career. And this is my 2022 pledge that I'm going to start doing this more. Sarah shared a story with Sarah that I had a person I was in contract with. And then they said, no, we're going to hold. And then about a month and a half later, I find out that they're in contract with another agent because they just happened to walk in on an open house or whatever it might have been. So I'm really pushing this, guys. This is going to be something where what do you say when you go, hey, Mrs. Buyer, I need you to sign this piece of paper. Now, I will give them one free ride in the car or go out and show property because they have to feel like that it's a win-win. I can't just send out to the people I'm going to go meet here shortly and just say, I need to sign this piece of paper. You're working with me and you're stuck with me for whatever, 6 months, a year, period. Who's going to sign that? I would never sign that. But if I actually went out and met with them and worked with them and you get these texts going back, thank you so much for your professionalism. It was wonderful to visit with you today. I'm going, I guess they liked me. So that when you start seeing that, that's when you would come back and go, great, guys, it's our policy. You can say that I'm required by signing this agreement. You're authorized me to represent you and look for the best interest in order for me to help you without possible conflicts of interest, protect you confidentially. My broker requires it. I think I got more here. There's signing this agreement is actually our policy. I mean, it's 100% committed to you. I like that one. I always like to say, look, guys, I want to be 100% committed to you. I'm going to be out there busting my rear, trying to find you a property, but I'd really like the same because I know I'm going to be sending you a lot of homes that are coming your way, but I'm sure you're going to see some other ones on Zillow, realtor.com that maybe they were just outside the criteria that we discussed. But instead of you calling them, I'd really like you just to call me. But at the same time, I want to make sure because there's a lot of agents out there who aren't going to ask you, are you working with somebody? If they don't ask you, they're going to say, hey, you just have to actually buy this house with me, or you just aren't going to get this house. That's not right, guys. That's not really ethical in my book, but it happens. There are agents out there who are going to try to steal you away from me. So I'd really like you to, sign this, because I will give you 100% commitment, but I really like 100% commitment from you. Would you mind doing that? And when you guys are, especially when you guys have written, Jana, 2-3 offers on properties, get them signed. Because the last thing you want them to do is just walk in an open house, which I've happened maybe 2 times last year, that the little elderly lady said, I didn't realize that you could help me. I thought I had to go through the agent there at the open house. Really? So, that's just what happens. And then it gets interesting. Well, that's another whole lesson. If you hear that they are in contract, then you get to bump them out and tell the other agent that I'm sorry, I get to work with you. So it's very interesting. But they'll feel that. I think if they sign that commitment letter, they feel committed to us. They feel like committed, like, oh no, I can't do that. Sarah, of course I'm working with another agent. You can't ask me that. I'm definitely, Sarah's my favorite agent. I would never betray her. So yeah, so I'm going to go for this, guys. So if you guys, anybody have one signed yet? No, not yet. So just let's keep that in mind, because what's going to happen here, what Dan was sharing with us, is that the commissions are going to be starting to be a little bit handled a little different. They're going to be, the buyers are going to be able to see our commissions. And then I wouldn't doubt that it's going to get to an interesting point in life where all of a sudden the seller says, I'm only willing to pay 3% commission and you need to get the rest from your buyer. So that's going to start happening. If that starts happening, we need to start being ahead of the curve on this. And I want you guys to do this. In closing, I want you guys to create business today. Hey, John, hope you are doing well. I'm sending some out today to creating, I'm going to move my picture, creating some CMAs for my new favorite people like you. There's a detailed multiple page report that will show you what your home's worth and the others near you for your sold recently. Normally, I only do these for someone who's selling their home, but I decided to get some report that would be valuable, and, that we would want one for your home. So I've tried this a couple of times. I've actually sent out some CMAs just on a whim, or on for sale by owners, or for whatever you want to do. I would just create them and send them. I've got a list now of the people that I've gone to in January, that I've gone to a listing presentation, and you guys will realize this. Well, I want to list maybe in spring, maybe in summer, maybe in fall. And what will end up happening, which I just had an agent who called me a couple of days ago and said, oh, by the way, I listed the house around the corner. I only telling you that because the agents or the client said that you actually came and met with them. Oh, that's really sweet of you. Well, I'm like mute. Okay, so but it's what it was there is that the sellers told me that they go, guys, Eric, we're not really thinking about moving for about a year or two, but we just kind of wanted to get an idea. And now I'm realizing that I can't be so nice and polite and say, okay, I'll call you in a year. So now what I'm doing is we are creating every 15 to 20 days another CMA, putting another one together and going back and looking at all of the homes that were active, all the homes that were pending and active, and what did they end up selling for, and or what new inventory just hit the market. And so now I'm doing a little mini CMA. It's like 6 or 7, 8 little homes, and going, just wanted to let you know, to keep you up to speed. This is what's kind of happening, blah, blah, blah. And I even did the one this morning that I said, I think we might be able to go a little bit higher because these other 2 comparables just actually went pending. Crazy that they just went pending. If that's the case, when they come out and we see the sold number, the next update that I send you, you'll be able to see that. And I've gotten great feedback of people going, hey, thank you so much. One guy just said, thank you so very much for keeping me up to date. I had a little COVID thing, and now I'm going to barely be a little bit longer. So we'll probably push it off till maybe summer. But see, I'm building this relationship with them. And so another 30 days, I'm going to send another one, say, this is where we're at, because I'm kind of tired of people just saying, hey, we're maybe 2 or 3 years, next year, maybe. And all of a sudden, then they put their house in the market. Again, this goes back to why they're asking for me to come over to their house in the first place, because they're maybe seriously thinking. And so I just want to share with you that, guys, when they get the bug in their little minds that they want to sell or they want to buy, it's probably going to happen sooner than we think. So just as a pro tip, I would just do that. I know it's a little pain because you got to do another whole one, but are there times of our days, guys, where we're sitting there going, what do I do now? Is there something I need to do? And just pick it up. Yes, no, what are you talking about, Eric? No, I don't play things. So, but that is what we got today, guys. Thank you. I've got to go look at a house real quick in Meta Vista and then come back for my 10:15 or no, 10:45 showing. So Any questions really quick on anything